Hello everyone and welcome to Golf Center. Along with my co-host this week, Michael Paulmeier, I'm Chris Tremblay. And Michael, once again, we have a full tee sheet this week. Who do we have joining us?
Absolutely. We have Tom McKnight. He'll be discussing the Players Am from Berkeley Hall. We have Patrick Ford discussing Bloody Point, and Jeff Spencer from Callawassie will also be joining us.
But before we go ahead and bring them on, we need to recap some golf news.
Absolutely.
Let's start out up in Dublin, Ohio with the Memorial Tournament. And Matt Kuchar, he's definitely proving himself to be one of the best players in the world. Moved up to number 4 in the world golf rankings with his victory by 1 stroke over Kevin Chappell and 5 over local product Kyle Stanley. And boy, what can you say about Matt Kuchar? It just seems as though he keeps nibbling away and getting better and better and better.
Absolutely. Beginning 2002, 2003, struggled a little bit, actually lost his card. 2005, got back on the tour. And what I love about golf is he retooled his swing in 2009, 2010, has been putting it together ever since then. This is his second tour win, or his tournament win this year. And some people are saying this could be the year he wins a major. Not from what I'm seeing, it's possible. It's there.
Well, you know, it definitely seems as though from the standpoint of ball striking, he's doing what he needs to do. He's driving the ball in play and he's putting well. And generally that's the formula for winning the U.S. Open. Now, one of the things that's interesting, like you said, about him retooling his swing is he has gone to what a lot of people in the golf industry know as the one-plane swing, which means when you swing the club back, the upper part of your lead arm, or for us right-handed players, your left arm, tends to be more parallel to the shoulder plane that you have. His arms aren't going way up in the air when they're swinging more around him. And actually, for some people, it looks a little different because Matt is so tall, as you can see here, compared to Jack. Yep. He's so tall that when he makes that flat swing, it looks a little odd. But needless to say, it produces very well. And one of the reasons is because it makes the body and the arms, it's easier for them to work together. You know, the more somebody swings up and down, you get more into instances where they rely on timing, tempo, rhythm, and balance.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Matt Kuchar's definitely found that I think that one-piece swing or one-plane swing works for him. And, you know, in Marion, I think he's definitely going to be a factor. I'd be surprised if he wasn't there at the end, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
With his win, he moves up to number 2 in the FedEx Cup. Brandt Snedeker is 3. Kevin Streelman is still 4, as is Billy Horschel still at 5. But he keeps playing like this. I think he could get up there and run right past Tiger in the near future. Talking about the U.S. Open, they're going to be at Marion very, very soon, and they just finished sectional qualifying where they finished off filling the field. They had 57 new qualifiers. 7 of them were amateurs, which I found to be very interesting out of the 57. But you have some pros on your list there that, surprisingly enough, had to go through sectional qualifying. Past winners on tour also.
Absolutely. Everyone from Paul Casey, Jose Mario Ozazabal, Charlie Hoffman, Robert Carlson, all these guys had to go back through that qualifying process to earn their way back in there. And I think that's one of the things I love most about golf is you don't see the NFL having open qualifiers the week of the Super Bowl. It doesn't happen. But yet in golf, there's that chance. And those amateurs get up there with the big boys who truly say that this is the open for the entire country. I think it's an amazing thing about this sport.
Well, definitely one of the unique things about not only the U.S. Open, but the British Open, as most people know it as the Open Championship, is that there are so many spots that are open for the taking. And, you know, for a lot of people to try, so to speak, right?
A 1.4 handicap's necessary, but, you know, it's still open. You know?
So maybe we're not opening it up to that many
not
people.
Everybody,
but, you know, people that definitely have the game as qualified by the USGA have a chance to make it. And when you see the players that get in through qualifying, you know, usually you get the ones that you might think, but every once in a while you get some surprises and they help make the story all that much more intriguing.
It just adds to the drama, and that's why I love the Opens. They're my favorite majors.
Now, 2 of the qualifiers, one was Jordan Spieth, who first year on tour, played for the University of Texas, the NCAA champs last year, and one of the other players was amateur Max Homa, who played for the University of California this year, a team that won 12 of 14 tournaments. We're going to get to that in a sec. But and he was also the NCAA individual champion, so a couple of youngsters that I think will be fun to watch.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Finally, let's get on to the NCAA Division I Men's Championship, which just concluded this past week. Alabama, the team that was runner-up last year to Texas, they made it to the finals. They ended up breaking through this year and winning, and just so you know how the NCAA Men's Tournament works, teams qualify throughout the year. The ones that qualify for the championship, it's 72 holes of stroke play. Each day they take the low 4 out of 5 scores. The low 8 teams at the end of the 4 rounds go into match play. and then one round at a time they're eliminated.
Absolutely.
Your alma mater, University of Illinois, actually beat
Absolutely.
Cal, who was a heavy favorite this year. I mean, Cal had won 12 of 14 collegiate events
And
this
I think
year.
they had the #1 player in the country on that team. But
Easy.
Exactly.
Easily. And, you know, tell us about how the Fighting Illini would have done
The
that.
funny thing about it, actually, it's not my alma mater because I went to Beloit College, but it's Orchids. My wife from
I'm sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay. But yeah, she was really rooting for them, and they were able to beat Texas, last year's champion. They beat the #1, and everyone thought was a foregone conclusion in Cal.
Yes.
And they just, after Alabama came out and won the first 7 holes, they just couldn't seem to get back into stride and play like they had in the previous rounds. But they really did, for a Midwestern Big Ten team to do that well. I thought it was really, really
For a
step up
team to
them.
come from, you know, for lack of a better term, the snow belt.
You got it.
And be able to compete. Now, one thing that should be mentioned is their coach is Mike Small, who's a former tour member,
Right.
and also one of the best club professional players in the country. And obviously having somebody like him along their side to guide them, and especially when it gets
Right.
competitive, can be a great advantage.
I completely
That's all the time we have for this segment. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Tom McKnight from Berkeley Hall talking about the Players Am right after this. Welcome back to Golf Center. We are very pleased in this segment to be joined by former Champions Tour player and co-founder of the Players Amateur, Tom McKnight. Tom, thank you so much for being with us.
It's great to be here, Chris.
One thing we'd like to know right to get out of the gates here, how did the Players Amateur get started back in 2000?
Well, the Players Amateur really was born on a plane flight. Duke Delcher and myself were flying to the U.S. Amateur at Pebble Beach in 1999. And on the way out there, we just came up with the idea. We've both been playing a lot of tournaments. We said, let's start our own and do the things that we think are the best about all the tournaments we play in, and things that we think we can do better. Let's do that too.
How did we go ahead and form the original field back in 2000? How did that, come about?
Well, at the time, Duke and I were both playing in a lot of amateur tournaments. It was the U.S. Amateur. We were both on Walker Cup teams. I was on the World Amateur team, and we knew all the young kids that were the best players in the country or in the world. And so when we decided to do the tournament, we started kind of twisting our arms. Guys like Matt Kuchar and Bryce Mulder. Say, look, we're going to try to start this tournament, and would you come and play? And they said, just tell us where to be and when, and we'll be there. And we kind of got instant credibility, and the guys, they all wanted to come.
Now, Tom, back in 2004, the Heritage Classic Foundation became involved in the event. Could you please tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Well, we first approached the Heritage Classic Foundation in regards to a sponsor exemption for the winter. And Steve was gracious enough and the foundation to allow us that to happen. And after they got involved, they said this is a great mix for us because we have a charitable aspect to the tournament. And so they said, look, we've got the personnel. Would you like for us to kind of come in and help run the tournament and provide people and personnel and do things? And it was a great fit for both of us, so it's been a win-win situation for us.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second year you're at Berkeley Hall. Where has the tournament been prior to that?
Well, the tournament started in 2000, and it was held at Belfair, and it was there until last year, and we moved it to Berkeley Hall, and we're there now.
Okay, so the tournament's not that far away. What preparations are underway to get ready for it?
Well, right now we're trying to get the field. We've got about a 78-player field, and we have exempt players. And to start with is to get the field, and we've got probably 72 have committed of the exempt players, so we'll finish filling the field in the next couple weeks. And as far as the golf course, Berkeley Hall stays in great shape, and Danny Malone, the superintendent, does a great job there, so he'll take care of that. We don't even have to worry about that. We have a lot of housing and volunteer issues that are being taken care of, and that's looking good too. So, there's a lot goes on behind the scenes. Matt Presnell and his staff do a great job of helping us too. So, it's very easily done at Berkeley Hall, and we're excited about the tournament coming up.
I would think, Michael, with the infrastructure that Berkeley Hall has and with the courses
Absolutely.
they have here, if you're an amateur and you get an invite,
You're gonna love
it
to
wouldn't
play.
take you long to go, okay, just tell me when
Absolutely,
it is,
absolutely. But beyond that, Tom, what do you think attracts the world's best amateurs to come play, and what big names have already committed?
Well, so far this year, Bobby Wyatt is the #1 ranked amateur in the country he's plays for University of Alabama, and they just won the NCAA tournament. He has committed to play. We've got Brady Watt is on the Australian national team. He's like the top 10 world ranking. So we have a lot of high-ranked players that'll be here, and it's just we have a waiting list to fill it out, and with a limited number of players, like say about 78 to 80 player field, there'll be a lot of people wishing they got in that didn't get in, and we wish we could accommodate more, but it's just a tough because it's a strong field.
Now, I understand with the Heritage Classic Foundation, you know, and the way that they operate, obviously, you know, they're huge they're all about charities. How can we, you know, be part of this, you know, with the Players Amateur?
Well, with the Players Amateur, one of our main goals, well, we had two goals really with the tournament, and one was to provide the best amateur tournament in the world, and two was to, at the end of the day, to provide some money for charities, local charities. And that's very, you know, right in with the Heritage Classic Foundation. So we have several different packages that we have set up, and also, you know, you can contact playersam.com, talk to the Heritage Classic Foundation, but there are several packages, and you can participate in a Player Am day on Sunday, on Wednesday, the tournament. And you know, it's a lot of fun to be out there. You know, it should be a great week.
What are the dates of the tournament so everybody can dial themselves in?
The tournament itself is actually July the 11th through the 14th, and it is open to the public. And we hope everybody will come out because you'll see the best amateurs in the country who will be the next superstars, the next Matt Kuchars, the next Ben Curtis, and the guys Lucas Glovers, and the guys who have played in the Players Amateur. I mean, it'll be fun to watch.
Well, Tom McKnight, as we lead up to the tournament the next few weeks, we look forward to talking about it more. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And we'll be back right after this. When you think of Daufuskie Island, you think of wonderful golf courses, and at the south end of the island, Michael, there's a beauty named Bloody Point that, fortunately for golfers here in the Low Country, has reopened. Yes, it initially opened in 1991 at Jay Moore's Tom Weiskopf golf course. Due to the economic conditions in 2008, it shut down, but fortunately, like I said, for all our Low Country golfers here, it has reopened, and we'd like to welcome Patrick Ford, the general manager of Bloody Point, to talk about it today. Patrick, thank you for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
The grand opening and course conditions of Bloody Point are supposed to be terrific. Tell us about what happened.
Well, we had a grand opening Memorial Day weekend. We had festivities Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday was the shotgun tournament, the official opening for the golf course. Had just about 100 people come out for that day, which was a banner day. It was the first tournament that we had in over 3 years out there.
When we have a course that reopens, usually something is done to the golf course. Can you tell us about Davis Love coming in and doing some work?
Absolutely. The Love Group came in about 14 months ago and sent Bob Spence, was the project manager. And what we did, we kept the same corridors of the course, but we got rid of about 30% of the bunkering. Basically from within 200 yards from the tee box, just to make it a little bit more user-friendly, and did some reshaping of the greens. Nothing too dramatic, but I do believe we made it a little bit better of a golf course.
You don't want to make it too hard. We've got to keep it user-friendly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. How would you describe the current playing conditions of the course?
The current playing conditions, every day it's getting better. The spring was harsh for everybody. It was kind of a chilly spring, so the Bermuda and the fairways, I would think, in this local area were a little bit delayed. But now the temperature's changed, we've got some rains, it's popping really well. We have a new grass that's on the greens. It's called a Platinum Paspalum. Relatively new strand of grass.
It does.
Well, we're all about
we
cost containment. But it's really jumping right now, and it's filling in very nicely. We're taking a passive approach. The greens are rolling at about an 8, so it's not too scary. And you know, all in all, very good.
Now, getting to Bloody Point, do we do that from Hilton Head, Savannah? Can we do it from both places? Take a day trip? What's our access?
You can do it from Hilton Head, Savannah, and Bluffton. We have our own dock off our 17th green, and our own boats are going to and from Savannah. However, we have networked with H2O Sports, Harbortown Adventures, and May River Excursions, which leaves out of Bluffton.
Now, what kind of accommodations if I want to bring the family out, or maybe do like a guy's golf trip?
Oh, we just renovated our spa. It's a 7,000 square foot building. It's got 7 bedrooms. It'll accommodate 14. We also have in our inventory a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, full kitchen Sandy Lane unit on Bloody Point property. So you can come on out and stay for the weekend, for the week. Each property comes with a rental cart and discounted rounds of golf.
So we head on out there. Let's say we want to go out, but we don't want to do any of our own cooking. Tell us about our eating accessories out there.
Well, we've got a fabulous restaurant. It's called the Eagle's Nest. We do lunch and dinner 7 days a week. We've got a great chef from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Michael DeMarco. He's been with us for, I think, about 6 months now, and he's got a great flair and loves the island, and the people on the island are completely enjoying his food.
I love the idea of being able to get away from Hilton Head but not go too far for a completely unique event or experience for my family. What else could there be for the family to do while I'm golfing? My kids, my wife, what would they enjoy?
Well, if you're staying at our resort, if you will, we have an oceanfront lot with a beach club. We've got cart rentals to tour the island. We've got 2 tennis courts. We've got one of the most beautiful beaches in the area at low tide that goes out over a mile, so the beach gets huge out there. You could pretty much do, within reason, whatever you want.
So let's say I've got a group of guys who want to come out, or gals, or couples. Sure. Let's say we want to come out. How do we contact you? What do we need to do?
You just give us a call at the golf shop. That's area code 843-341-5566. And we will take care of the accommodations for you. We can set up the reservations in the cottage. We set up the marine transportation for you, and basically take care of you once you get there to when you depart.
How about the website? Where can everybody find the website?
It's at bloody-point.com.
Boy, it sounds like that's a place to go and really have an
wonderful
enjoyable
getaway.
weekend
Absolutely.
or a great getaway.
Absolutely.
Patrick Ford, General Manager at Bloody Point, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back here on Golf Center right after this. And welcome back to Golf Center. One of the more established golf communities here in the Low Country area is Callawassie Island. And here to join us today to help us know what is going on over there is PGA General Manager Jeff Spencer. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
So tell us what's going on with Callawassie and what's it all about?
Well, we're an 800-acre private island where, fortunately, we're close enough to everything, but just a little bit out of the way. It's actually only took me 37 minutes to get here from Callawassie Island, so I think that little secret that we're a little far away is somewhat getting out, because we're getting more and more traffic and more people to come and check out our wonderful island. We've got 27 holes of golf, 6 tennis courts, a couple of swimming pools, and we have our own little private area back there, which is great for us. In between Beaufort and Hilton Head, kind of gives us both options.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I think is really interesting is as the Low Country continues to stay competitive as far as attracting people to come down and live here full time, Jeff, what are some of the things that you think stand out that make this such a hidden gem for people to come and actually maybe join our community down here in the Low Country?
Well, I think our amenities are great. We were the first and one of really only 3 National Wildlife Foundation areas that South Carolina has. We've got 27 great holes of Tom Fazio golf. We're one of the first designs Tom Fazio has ever done. We did a great renovation to it in 2009 with his help, and we've really kind of found our niche. Like I said, we're close enough to Hilton Head. I think I've spent more than 35 minutes trying to get from the north end to the south end on occasion, but I made it all the way to the south end this morning in under 40 minutes, so it's close enough where you can enjoy both Hilton Head and Beaufort, and both of those options are great for us, and the community is a wonderful private community, secure, only one way on and one way off coming over the causeway.
Well, I think Jeff hit the nail on the head there. It's in such a great location. You're not far from Beaufort. You're not far from driving out to Fripp Island. You're not far from coming here to Hilton Head. If you want to take a little day trip to Charleston or Savannah,
Absolutely.
all very reachable. So, the location of it, I can't imagine it being much better. Tell us about some of the recent successes of Callawassie Island.
Well, we've had a great return of the real estate market to some extent in the last 2 years. Obviously, 2008 wasn't very helpful for anybody around town and here and all around the country, but we've come back strong. 2012, we were up over 100% of our sales in 2011. We're over 36% of our sales above 2012's numbers so far this year. So it's coming around, and we've had a lot of real estate success. Golf course wise, we've continued to host some great events after the renovation. We've had USGA Senior Open qualifiers and Carolinas PGA and Hilton Head PGA and the Carolinas Golf Association, South Carolina Golf Association. We've had some of their bigger events, and The golf is fantastic, but the community itself is wonderful to be around when you're not on the golf course.
Golf course wouldn't get those tournaments unless it was a pretty strong track, Michael.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of the golf course, Jeff, what in particular do you think stands out that would attract new members the most as far as those 27 holes are concerned?
Well, we have anywhere from 5,000 yards of tees to 7,000 yards of tees. The 27 holes really helps. You know, you get tired of playing the same 18. We also have set up a composite set of tees for each of those golf courses and the rotation. So there's about, I think there's upwards of 20 different options as far as tees and rotations to go with. So the golf is great. We have 2 kayak docks and a lot of deep water stuff for people to do boating and tennis, and so it's a well-rounded community that has just fantastic golf.
Can you tell us about some of the upcoming events there at Callawassie?
We have a South Carolina Golf Association event coming up later on. We also have a Hilton Head Amateur Golf Association event coming up this summer. We also host one of the days for the Carolinas Cups, which is a charity fun walk that runs through the golf course, and so we're really engaged in the community in total and use the golf course to benefit really everybody.
Well, Jeff Spencer, PGA General Manager and Director of Golf at Callawassie Island, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for us here on Golf Center this week. Michael, thank you so much for being with me.
And thanks for having me, Jeff.
My co-host, Mike Paulmeier. I'm PGA professional Chris Tremblay. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Golf Center.